Okay, I have it. I have it. Welcome, welcome, curling fans. It is the final of the BADEN Masters 2026. We have just started. We're in the first end. The teams did a last shot draw to determine who gets last throw here in the final. It is Joe Retornaz's team throwing red. We'll say hello to the teams in just a minute. We started off with 12 teams this year, a little bit smaller than before. We had 2 quarterfinals yesterday evening. 2 teams got a direct pass to the semi-finals. One of them was Joe Retornaz. The other was Stefano Spiller's Italian team, so a very strong weekend for Italy. And of course they had a superb game this morning. We had 2 semi-finals this morning. It was Yannick Schwaller and the Norwegian team of Magnus Ramsfjell. They were the ones who came through the quarterfinals. They played the 2 Italian teams this morning. And it was Retornaz who triumphed over the Norwegian team. We watched that superb semi-final. Go ahead and watch that again. So careful stone placement, really aggressive decision making in that game. And Schwaller, they took on Stefano Spiller's team, and a completely different semi-final over there. A lot of big hits coming in, and eventually going to an extra end. But it was Schwaller who triumphed. 2 super semi-finals then. It was Retornaz who was off a little bit earlier. They had about an extra hour over lunchtime to just relax a bit, put the feet up a bit, have something to eat, and I wonder if that will be important for them in this game. They also were off after 7 ends, Joel's team. They played a really decisive 5th and 6th end, the Italians. They were off in 7. Schwaller needing an extra end to make the final here. So Schwaller had to come through the quarterfinal yesterday evening. They had to play an extra end this morning. They have thrown quite a lot more stones to get here. I wonder if they will be feeling the effects of that.
Okay.
There's a sight we got pretty used to seeing this morning. The Italians are playing Norway. And Norway really not doing an awful lot wrong, I have to say. Norway were quite dominant in the first half, but Italy really just bided their time, stayed focused. They were setting up the ends beautifully, Italy, and had to be quite patient until they could make use of that setup.
Yeah.
This is quite a nice aggressive start. We always like to see stones in play from the viewer's perspective. We said also this morning you don't get a chance these days to settle into the game, take an end or two just to see how the ice feels, get your weight and so on. I wouldn't quite see a mistake in the first end or two can be decisive. but it's not far off, you know. Oh, that was a nice throw from the Italians there.
Okay.
That little yellow, though, is still just hanging on. I wonder if that will be important in a few stones' time. First throw of the final for Yannick Schwaller. We had both Schwaller brothers in the competition this time. Yannick, the older brother. He's been playing for quite a number of years now, and his younger brother Kim. Skipping a team this year.
Probabilmente ci avviciniamo e basta. 8.
Ooh, that is some nice separation of yellow stones. And that is a bright start for the Swiss team playing yellow.
Ok. Secondo me 2/3 grossa probabilmente. Quasi 3/4. Colin? Sì. Vai! Oh! Oh! Non è male, Allora poi. Bravo.
Not enough separation though.
Bravo,
Got it in one. Big smile from the Italian third thrower. And rightly so. I will just pick off this across the house double with my first throw of the game. I would love to see that one again. Great throw from the young Italian there. I would not be surprised if that's the kind of quality we can expect for the next couple of hours.
Vogliamo un po' esterno.
Let's remember our objectives for this first end. Pretty much never changes. The Swiss without last stone. They are looking to prevent Italy from scoring big. And in curling, big means more than one when you have last stone. Italy, in contrast, they will be looking to make good use of that last stone. Try to put 2 points or more up on the board. They had to wait. This morning, though, they really had to wait almost half a game. Norway were just not letting them have any chances. And the Swiss are off to a good start here. Also not letting Italy boss this game from the beginning. Schwaller's team then have a chance to just put some early pressure on Italy. If they can just wrap a yellow around that guard out front. And that's not AI. He did just throw that to the pin. Let's say thank you to Fraser and all of the ice crew this weekend. They've had a busy time as always. The ice nice and fast, nice and swingy. An early mistake though from Joel. That stone just not finding the curl. Same again then for Benoit Schwarz. And that could be an early little advantage to Switzerland here in the first end. We saw how the constellation can really change in one throw when the teams are so precise and so accurate as the teams are at this level. Really, one good throw or one loose throw, it can really change the constellation of an end. And Schwarz has a big chance to make life difficult for Italy already in this first end here, and I think he has done that beautifully. That's some very nice target practice for the Swiss fourth thrower. And tricky shot coming up already for Joel. If you drive that red backwards, I think you get rid of both yellows, or you can get rid of both yellows, but then you will have one red lying around. Like we said before, 1 point with one last stone. It's okay, but you really want to get some extra points when you have that last stone advantage. And typically we would see the teams going for more than one, so that's why they've made this decision here. Joel just wants to catch the edge of these two yellows. Heavens. Oh, I thought he'd just about caught enough there. So nearly making up for a bit of a loose shot with this first throw there, Joel, but finally that is a strong start for the Swiss there. And it is Switzerland who lead 1-0 after one end. Pretty early days, but little advantage to Yannick Schwaller's team from Switzerland. I was about to say these teams know each other very well, and that's not 100% true. Joel Retornaz knows this team very well, but of course this is a new lineup that Joel is skipping this year. Ready to throw for the Italians in the hack there. That is Alberto Pimpini. He was Italy's 5th at the most recent Olympics, the Winter Olympics in Italy. And on the sweep there, that is brothers Andrea Ghili throwing second and Stefano Ghili throwing third. Yeah, big success at men's junior level. The Ghili brothers, world champion and vice world champion. A new lineup, but plenty of talent in that Italian team. And in contrast, the 4 Swiss sticking together. They were also at Olympics this time. And no changes in their lineup. Throwing lead, that was Pablo Lasha Kushpa. Throwing second is Sven Michel. Third and skip is Yannick Schwaller. And throwing fourth is Benoit Schwarz van Berkel. Four of the 8 people on ice have won this tournament before. but not all in the same team, not from the same country. When was the last time, you think, that Benoit Schwarz won this title? It was 10 years ago, in 2016, when he played with Peter de Cruz. Benoit Schwarz would love, I'm sure, to win this title again. Yannick Schwaller, he has won it more recently with his previous team also. He has won this championship in 2019 and 2021. Sven Michael, with his previous team, he has won this championship all the way back in 2011 and 2012. But the person who most recently was champion here is the man in the grey pullover in front of you. It is Joe Retornaz with his previous team. They won this competition in 2023. So plenty of experience out there. And some newer players who would love to win this competition for the first time. Objectives pretty similar in the second end. There was a bonus steal of a point for Yannick Schwaller's team throwing yellow. They scored one. They stole one rather in the first end. There it is on the board. Just that one loose shot from Italy, setting up a chance to steal. But objective pretty similar. It is again Italy who have last stone. The objective for Schwaller's team is to prevent Italy from scoring big, and that means 2 or more. And Italy's objective is to score big, so 2 or more. That's a fine effort from the second thrower, Andrea Gili. It is a bit confusing that the Swiss are wearing red uniforms but throwing yellow, so keep your brains active, gang. Sven Michael being asked to just follow that stone just played by Italy. Why is that a good idea? Well, let's remember our objective. Switzerland's objective, they don't have last stone. Switzerland's objective is to prevent Italy from scoring big, is to cut down scoring opportunity for Italy, and Sven Michael has done exactly that. Switzerland, they don't really mind if Italy would get 1 point, so that one red in the middle there, that would currently count 1 point for the Italians. And Switzerland, yeah, that's fine for them. That would mean an overall score of 1 each after 2 ends. And Switzerland would get that all-important last stone advantage back again. And that's why that shot from Sven Michael was a real peachy one. He has really cut down that scoring area if Italy want to score more than 1 just now.
Okay.
That was a super weight from Andrea Gili there. But how much of that red can the Swiss team see? If you can get to the face of that red, you could certainly pop the back one, the one that's currently right in the middle. That's the overhead view. Remember, there is another yellow guard closer to the hog line, also in the way. Well, this is what we like to see, isn't it? We have plenty of stones already in play in the second end. Two quite contrasting styles in a way out on the ice there. The Swiss team, quite big hitters. They have a lot of firepower in there. And the Italians, they really achieve a lot of good results by having a better attack. So the best form of defence is a better attack, and that is exactly what we saw them doing this morning against Norway. It was so effective. The more aggressive way of neutralising your opponent. So red to red, yeah, just bumps the back red out of the way. And that's a pretty happy result. Both of those yellows now are in a pretty safe position. Always remembering our objective. Italy still lying 1. They still had a second red there. And it's now that red that's lying short. But both of those yellows very safe there. Very dangerous there for Italy. How does Italy either protect that red or get a second red in? Not easy.
Ne va una sola, questa spicca qua. Ok. Io giocherei un 10. No, un po' spinna. Un quarto. Grossi su questa? Dove la fai saltare? Sopra? No, sì, spinna leggermente un po'. Uscire non esce, però spinna un po' via. Ok. C'hai la guardia. Già Bercine. 10.
This kind of strategy was really working for them against Norway. But we said that during that game as well. It is quite high risk, high reward. They were really getting the high reward this morning. But the Swiss kind of matching them with this aggressive stuff for the time being. So they move one of those dangerous yellows out of play. But still that yellow hanging around. That yellow's going nowhere. Yeah, if you play the same kind of thing, you could end up with both reds behind T-line. Much less dangerous. And maybe 2 yellows ahead of T-line in a very dangerous position. So same again, I think. It's probably the call. You can't see much of that yellow though. Again, that just shows us how precise these teams are at the club. You may consider opening up the front. And not with our last stone, but yeah, my point being, at the club you don't necessarily have the skill actually to successfully play this aggressively. You need to be so precise. Yannick Schwaller never taking his eyes off. I think he's got it perfectly. He has. That is a fine shot from him. What do we think from our angle? A little bit difficult to tell. Maybe a measure between the red and the yellow, but what's critical is that both of those reds, as we said, they're now behind T-line. Those reds can only get further away now from the target, whereas the yellows, they are in that dangerous position ahead of T-line, can still get a bit closer.
Se perdiamo tutto, allora questo sì. Sì, no, ma chi passa sopra questa o questa? Questa passerà mai sopra. Sì, ok. Quindi possiamo tenerlo tutto anche qua.
Have to say, Yannick Schwaller is involved in more than his share of games that run at a snail's pace. he has had 2 3-hour games already this weekend. And I wouldn't be surprised if we have another one up our sleeves here. As we said, with Retornaz favouring the really aggressive calls. Not too many big hits coming so far, and that just takes a bit longer for the stones to play if they're not travelling as quickly. So buckle in, guys. We may yet have another 2.5 hours of curling before we get a result here. Complicated situation at the playing end. Already in this second end, those 2 yellows definitely dangerous. But those 2 yellows, well, one of the reasons they're dangerous is because they're in quite a difficult place to do anything about them. Quite hard to move them out of play, quite hard to place a stone better than those yellows. Yeah, I think that was about as good as you could do with that stone. As we said, those 2 yellows, they were really in a great position at the top of the forefoot there. I don't think you could move both of them. But you've created a bit of space, and you still have a couple of reds rather. They are behind T-line, but starting to hang around.
Quello che chiamavo per prima era questo tiro qua, magari tenere un po' di tiro shooter, però probabilmente tenendo il tiro shooter la gialla piccava di più sulla rossa. Comunque siamo secondi e terzi.
First throw of the second end for Ramsfjell. Same strategy, I think, for the Swiss. Keep putting yellows ahead of T-line, hidden in behind that cover on the centre line. And that's exactly what they wanted. That's a really nice throw. Swiss objective, prevent Italy scoring big. They don't mind if Italy score 1, but they don't want to give them opportunities to score more than that. And they really played this end very well so far, the Swiss. 7 out of 7 stones. And Italy have only 2 stones to try to come up with 2 points here.
Guarda quanta ne hai te, se ne hai veramente poca possiamo giocare il punto.
Yeah, we do like to see stones in play, but that does tend to result in more 3-hour games.
Quante ne hai? Dalla prima niente. Dalla seconda un quarto, un terzo. Già il punto. Sì. T-line. Toccare il bottom. 15,5.
That is the other way in. It's hard for Switzerland to take away every shot. All Switzerland can do is make it as difficult as possible, try and force Italy to play the harder shots. So there is still a path in on this in turn, on the clockwise handle. But most of the play has been on the other side of the sheet in the second end.
Anche linea. 15-9, sì che la porti. Linea perfetta, continua così. Hard. Schiaccia.
And the Italian front end putting everything they have into that sweep. Just coming up a little bit short, but it's much better a bit short of tee rather than behind tee. Behind tee would really be no good. But maybe just that slightly fresher ice on that side of the sheet, making that stone drop just in the 8 foot. But that's definitely a stone Italy can use. You can see our sponsors there on the screen in the bottom left corner. That's what always makes this a really nice start to the season for all these top teams. The hotel's right next door, and they have their own little place, own little corner in the restaurant to eat as much as they like. Now, when you're a junior curler, you will often hear your coach say, if the rest of the team has done their job, all that fourth thrower needs to do is guard. And that is exactly what Benoit Schwartz has done. So credit to the rest of his team for setting this up. All Schwartz had to do was just cover now that red. And difficult for Italy to access it now. So important shot here for Retornaz, even at this early stage. I think it's yellow who's currently lying, and nothing much to be done about that yellow stone. What he wants is to simply play a better stone. We saw his first stone come up a little bit short, and this one looks a wee bit longer. Needs to be fully in the 4 foot. You can see Alberto Pimpini putting everything he's got into that. Well, gosh, he could hardly have played that much better, could he? But I think that was still yellow by the look of it. By just a millimetre or two. And this is a super start from the Swiss. I believe that was a steal of another yellow point. But the Italians, this is similar to what they were facing this morning. They could not get a mistake out of Norway in the first half of the game this morning, and they just had to be patient, keep focused, don't lose concentration. That was a score of 1 yellow. You can see Pablo Lacha-Couchepin in the hack there. So Italy need to be patient. That worked for them this morning. And Switzerland, they just need to keep doing this. Oh, let's say hello to everyone in the chat. If you want to say hi, you want to tell us who you're cheering for, or if you want to ask a question, share which teams you're looking forward to watching this season. We love that sort of thing here. And we have Megan, our super fan. I think you're now up early, Megan. I think you had a few hours of sleep maybe. Jefferson is cheering for Retornaz and the Italians. Tom's rail announcements, another super fan. He is happy about this final. Oh, there's Osako from Japan. Welcome back, Osako. I know she's always a fan of the Italian teams. And now that they've kind of split themselves in half, you have 2 top men's teams to watch. In fact, they had a third team here as well, who didn't qualify this time for the quarterfinals. But Italian men's curling in very good health. We have Christoph back again. He's cheering for Italy again. We have Noel in the chat. He is cheering for the Swiss. I couldn't believe it when I was looking back to see when was the last time these guys had won the competition. But yeah, the last time Yannick won, he's won it twice in recent years, but that was with his previous team. And I was pretty surprised that Benoit Schwartz and Sven Michael, they have not won this competition in more than 10 years. Noel will be very happy if Yannick Schwaller's team can change that today. Floyd from the Philippines, who now lives in Switzerland. He was here at the club yesterday. Good to hear that, Floyd. Yeah, what a journey Philippines curling's been having. One of my teammates from my Bonspiel team is Filipino, Chris Mina. He has represented the senior men's for Philippines, and yeah, Philippines curling really announcing itself with a bang. Good to see you supporting as well, Floyd. Mardo Quetargino, I hope I said that properly. It sounds maybe like an Italian name. They're enjoying their Sunday curling. Jane Flanagan tuning in early from Canada. It must be early morning for you, Jane. That's a nice way to waken up and have Sunday brunch with some top class curling. We are very international here at the Virtual Club. We do have members from all over the world. This is again good set-up play from Italy. If there is one thing this Italian team are very good at, it's really just holding their nerve, just being patient, stone by stone, don't panic. But as Tom notes, yeah, the Swiss are really not letting them in at all at the moment. But we said that about Norway this morning, and then look what happened. Greetings to our virtual members in Asia Pacific region. I'm afraid I don't read Japanese or Korean writing, unfortunately. But we are always glad for you to join us. The first time in the competition here this year, we had a team from Slovakia. Slovakian curling still quite new on the scene, but definitely making progress. Very strong wheelchair curling team, Slovakia. They have made semi-final at Winter Paralympic. And this third end, not quite setting up here for Italy. Not quite finding the roles they were finding earlier on. Here's Steffi back again. Steffi's a colleague and teammate from my club here in Switzerland. She and other teammate Karin, they were here at the club, watching this top-class event, picking up tips and learning from the best.
15-4, spaccati.
Eva Slim, she is watching from Lebanon and the Lebanese Curling Association. Gosh, I think that's a new one for me. That is exciting. I would come for a nice bond spiel in Lebanon and then stay an extra week to eat all the food. I think you may be the first member in the virtual club that's from Lebanon, Eva. Welcome to you. Aha! Mardo is watching from Brazil. Yeah, Brazil curling. That is still going strong as well. Sharon is looking forward to cheering for Alina Petz's new team. They will definitely be ones to watch in the women's game, but not here this weekend. Just the boys this weekend. The rhythm of this game, very similar to what we had this morning. Italy started their semi-final against Norway. They started that also with last stone, and it took them almost half a game to just get their setup right, get the finishing shots right. They really had to be patient, but that is a bit of a half shot now from Switzerland. Both of those yellows now behind tee. You will not get many misses out of Schwaller's team today, I don't think. And this is what Italy were doing so well this morning. Both teams played really well in the first half. Norway neutralising everything, not giving them a chance, but as soon as they did get a chance, Italy really pounced on it, and they need to do the same here. That is a fine throw. The previous Italian men's champions, Joel's previous rink, of course, very famous for their powerful sweeping. I think informally, here in the club room, we were often wondering how much can they bench press, those big boys, and I think they have passed on their gym routine to the next generation here. We've seen some very solid sweeping from the Gili brothers and Alberto Pimpini. So they don't need to overthink this, Switzerland. A score of 1 to Italy is absolutely fine. Jefferson's watching from Russia. Welcome to you. I know there are discussions about if we will have Russia back in the competition, well, in all sports, if we will have Russia back in Olympic representation. Good that you're still watching. Mike in England, I think you were here at the virtual club last year as well, Mike. Happy to see Schwaller in form and looking forward to seeing the Scottish teams. They did something rather similar to the Italian teams, actually. They also just kind of swapped middle orders. And so Bruce Mowat now has Robin Bryden at 3 and Grant Hardy now has Ross White at 4. I'm looking forward to seeing those teams as well. I think they are playing, a lot of the teams here will be playing in the Stirling competition in Scotland next weekend. And I think you will see all the Scottish teams there. We had 2 Scottish teams travelling to support the competition this year. The Scottish teams always really supportive of this competition. The only time they didn't travel is when they weren't allowed during COVID. And a shout out for Oren Carson's team. Not long out of junior men's curling, Carson's team, and I really feel for them this weekend. They won 3 games out of 5. The games that they lost, the 2 games that they lost, one was at the last stone in the 8th end and one was at the last stone in an extra end. But that was not enough to qualify for the quarter-final. Can you believe it? They got knocked out on draw shot challenge by last year's champions, actually, Marco Hösli's team. So hard luck to you, Oren Carson's team from Scotland. 3 wins out of 5. A couple of last stone losses. And I do feel a bit bad for them. But again, that just shows you how difficult it is at this level. It must feel like the big teams like Yannick Schwaller, Joe Retornaz, it must feel like, they just go out and win every game somehow. They don't really. What they do is they keep it together for 127 stones and then they win the game with the 128th, and that's how difficult it is to win at this level. Jan in Tennessee is rooting for Switzerland. You must be up early as well, Jan. Thank you for joining us. This is making progress from Italy here. There are at least now 2 reds in play. Not possible to move both of them. That red in the forefoot is really locked on that back yellow. Pernilla is watching from Sweden. Hello to you. Yeah, all changing the Swedish teams as well. The great man, Nicholas Edin. I think he's been held together by Velcro and sellotape for quite a long time, and enough is enough. And I think, stepping down as the most successful world champion ever, that's not a bad place to call a halt. Now, where does this yellow roll? They wanted it right in behind cover, but they are not going to get that. And just a couple of half shots now starting to sneak in to the Swiss. And this will be last stone for Joe Retornaz. And their patience. Ooh, I don't want to speak too soon. Let's go back to the chat for 30 seconds. Steffi up the road from my club in Switzerland, enjoying being in the virtual club here with folks from really all over the world.
Linea buona, solo velocità. Linea buona, solo velocità. Linea non sarà mai un problema. Solo velocità, ditemi quant'è.
Everyone looks pretty happy with it. The sweepers just making sure no mistake from the Italians. And that will steady the ship. That was a well-worked, hard-worked 2 points there to Italy. Just confirming with the opposition, yep. That is an important score of 2 red on the board. Quite a difference at this stage of the game and the competition between scoring 1 and scoring 2. Now, smiles from the Italians. Yeah, it's back to level after 3 ends. The score in our final at Baden Masters, it is Joe Retornaz's team from Italy 2, Yannick Schwaller's team from Switzerland 2. I see Fiona in Portugal in the chat. I know that you're a regular here as well, Fiona. I hope you're enjoying seeing your favourite teams, some new teams, new faces to get behind for this cycle. Handy taken, watching from Istanbul, cheering for Schwaller. Some good players in Turkish curling. They have just been quietly getting better and better for the past 10 plus years now. And yeah, they're really regulars at Europeans now in the top group. Nasopup also in Russia. Good that our fans in Russia still enjoying being here in the virtual club. And I have been saving you up, Ian Craig, in New Zealand. How lovely to see your name there. We are doing our best. Sorry to just derail the chat a bit here, but we are doing our best, me and my Bonspiel team, to come visit you in New Zealand next season in 27. I've known Ian for hundreds of years. Good to see that the new Auckland Curling Centre, I've been following that on Instagram. New curling centre in Auckland, brand new and opened. Auckland Club's been around for a long time, but they did not have dedicated ice until just a couple of months ago. Look them up. And they have a Bonspiel June 27, I think it is. For the first time in the game then, it is now the Swiss who have last stone advantage. I sometimes think that with the lead throwers, it's almost like they're having their own private little game. Those first 4 stones, almost nothing to do with each other. Those first stones really setting up your teammates. You put those stones in a perfect position, and then it's really up to your teammates to find the right angles. Use those stones to get into scoring position. So it often looks like the 2 lead throwers are just ignoring each other. Didn't see what happened there. I guess someone touched the stone when sweeping. I'm not too sure, but that yellow being taken out of play.
Albi era, l'ho persa, ma era 15,5, 15,6.
Not sure what caused that, and if that is more or less bad luck, or maybe it could have been a pickup. And in a game that's so close, we don't like to see that. That can change an end. Just one little piece of fluff on the ice or so. For the first time, really, Italy not taking advantage of a mistake there. That was a bit overthrown from Andrea Gilly. He was maybe all excited that they had a missed shot there from Switzerland, but not making the most of it, and Sven Mikkel will have a chance to make amends here. Ooh. Fiona in Portugal tells us there will be a Portugal team at World Mixed Doubles qualification. That is exciting. Bring extra t-shirts and jackets, Fiona. Everyone loves to collect shirts and jackets from the newer teams or the more unusual countries. Hubert Trenker is cheering for Retornaz from the curling club in Südtirol. That's just over the border from Austria. And yeah, most of Italian curling really coming from the northeast of the country. This is looking dangerous though for Italy. That is now 2 yellows counting. Good separation. Both ahead of T. Objective 1, pretty obvious. We need to remove the yellows. No double takeout. The next best thing is a very accurate hit and roll. If Italy are not to lose 2 in this end, they will need a mistake from Switzerland. They will need some very precise placement. Pretty much like that. That is exactly what was needed from Italy there. The yellow straight out of play, and that red not fully hidden, but what, 90% hidden. Oh, there's another teammate of mine. There's Patricia in the chat. Hi, Patricia. That's a great throw from Yannick Schwaller. Not easy to just pick off that red and hang around yourself. Same drill for Italy. They need a mistake now from Switzerland anyway, if they are not to lose 2 points here.
Sì, comunque se rimaniamo in casa può andare bene. Adesso solo stare attenti a sto gem qua. Se sono grossi si va in 2/3 grossi. Colin.
Joseph Brown in close to Calgary. When I read Airdrie Curling Club, I thought, I didn't know there was a curling club in Airdrie in Scotland. Presumably, the folks from Airdrie moved to Canada a long time ago and set up a curling club when they got there.
Forza era bella giocata. Ha giocata molto bene anche.
Gosh, we really are international today. Maria is watching from Peru. I'm not sure I've ever seen Peruvian curling team. Let me know if you have, gang. I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe there would be folks from Peru living in Canada or the US.
Max, niet mee.
You see the sweepers just constantly looking to the stone, then to the playing end, back to the stone.
Push, 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 push. Freeze, freeze.
And that's really well judged from them. Again, really good separation on those yellows. Really difficult. I'm not sure there is a double because it's landed just at a nice angle to the red.
Roll lungo sulla gialla. 11.
Few players out there have thrown more fourth stones than Joel Retornaz. It is not for everyone. In fact, most people who've played a while, they actively dislike throwing fourth stones. It's a very valiant attempt from him. The trick with throwing fourth is that there's nobody coming after you. It's not necessarily your best player, it's really the player who is good at holding their nerve, a nice consistent player who's good at holding their nerve. And Joel's, it's really about 20 years now. He's had a career at the highest level. So many titles, Grand Slams, Olympic appearances, Worlds appearances. So that tends to tell us that he's doing something right. And now just blending that experience with the next generation of Italian curlers. Alberto Pimpini, already some experience with Joel's team as fifth man at Olympics. And Stefano and Andrea Gili, the two brothers, they played with Stefano Spiller, who we saw earlier on in the competition. They topped their group as well. And highly successful in the junior men's landscape. They were world champions and vice world champions back to back. And great to see more strong Italian teams coming through here. It is Switzerland playing yellow, who have last stone in this fourth end as we approach the halfway. First throw for their fourth thrower, Benoit Schwartz. Yes, no sweeping is typically a good sign. Well, that shows you how good of a shot that was from Joel Retornaz. He rolled his red stone in front of the yellow just enough that you couldn't remove one without the other, and phew,
Direi
for the many Italian fans in the chat, that is good news. That end was looking a little bit dangerous for Italy there, but a majestic throw with his first shot. That man in the hack. And now if he just makes that yellow go away, the danger in this fourth end will be well neutralised.
clean, clean.
Oh, good for you, Maria, in Peru. Doesn't think there's a Peruvian curling team, but encourages everyone to get into curling. That's the spirit.
Bravo lui, sì. Bravo lui, parecchio. Buon forte.
You maybe watched curling at Olympics before the summer. That was in March this year. A lot of people get into curling during that. One of these teams, Schwaller's team, they were at Olympics for Switzerland. Joel Retornaz, he was there representing Italy along with his previous team. A lot of big stars here. Well, quite a turnaround in that end. The Swiss were really putting pressure on, but a peach of a shot from the Italian skip Joel Retornaz found enough of an angle to get a half shot out of Switzerland, neutralise the danger, job done. So I would say Italy really won that fourth end, so to say. There was no double takeout available for for Benoit Schwarz with his final throw, and that means that they forced the Swiss to take one. Remember, at the beginning we said it's relatively easy. Neither of these teams, none of these teams at these competitions, none of them miss many stones. So to get 1 point with your one final throw is kind of the default. Therefore, being forced to use your one last throw to get 1 point, that can be frustrating. So Italy will be very pleased with how they just kept it together in that fourth end. Could have gone badly, but they ended up forcing the Swiss to take one. And as we start the second half of our final here in Baden Masters 2026, it is Italy who have last stone in this fifth end. They are in quite the battle with Yannick Schwaller's team. It is Retornaz 2, Schwaller 3.
Linea buona.
Handy taken. I'm glad you've enjoyed the coverage. It was a little more reduced this year just because the competition was a bit smaller, but let's all say thank you to Chief Martin Stuckey, technical chief here, for the super coverage all weekend, and all of the games that have been on YouTube this weekend. They are all in the archive. You can watch them all again.
Contento?
Handy taken. Also looking forward to seeing the new Scottish teams. Our frequent flyer Osako from Japan, she's always very consistent with cheering for the Italian teams. Also hoping that Maria succeeds in welcoming Peruvian people to curling.
Non ci abbiamo tanto spazio per bouncearla, se ce la facciamo bene, non vorrei comunque troppo piena. Puoi giocartela un po' di più, ma dobbiamo stare un po' meno ghiaccio allora.
We saw this morning from this Italian lineup, we saw a superb fifth end. Norway were also playing well, but Italy were really managing to neutralise. You can neutralise an attack from your opposition in broadly two ways. Either you are throwing some big hits to remove stones, because no stones equals no points. That's the simplest way of doing it. The other way of neutralising an attack is to attack better. So when your opposition puts a stone in a good place, you put a stone in a good place. And that is exactly what Italy was doing this morning, and oh boy did that work for them. Spoke briefly to Joel over lunchtime and he says, well, that is how you have to win a game these days. You're not really going to out-hit these big teams anymore. Most of these teams really have a lot of firepower. They can really throw it pretty hard, move a whole bunch of stones. And from our perspective, I tend to agree with Joel. I've seen him play this aggressive strategy many times and it be successful for them. And yeah, I kind of hope that's true actually. It's always more interesting for us to watch games when there's stones in play. And I wonder if that will be the next evolution of strategy in curling when we switched last Olympic cycle to the 5 rock rule. That was a bit of a evolution there. We saw all the teams had to adapt to that. What we also saw was a lot of people becoming particularly good at removing 2 or 3 stones with one big throw. And once everybody can do that, yeah, it's not such an advantage anymore, and you need to evolve again. And of course, for the first time, we do see a big throw coming in this game.
Ok, bravo. Un po' troppo fine forse? Buona Andrea. Va bene, no?
Very nice throw from Andrea Gigli. It is Italy who have last stone in this 5th end. And this is interesting. There are no guards out front. There is 1 red and 1 yellow only in the house. Would be quite easy for Yannick Schwaller to remove one or both of them if he felt like it. Not doing that again. Going for the more aggressive strategy. Let's get another stone in here. We don't just blast everything out of the house. Let's get another stone in there.
11.
Yes, Sven.
Pretty finely poised this game, but Switzerland's strategy pretty much the same as it has been without last stone, and that is to try to prevent Italy from scoring. One way to prevent Italy from scoring would be to remove their stones. That's kind of the easy way of doing it. The other way to prevent Italy scoring is to put your stones in the way. And that is another very nice throw from Andrea Gigli. I wonder if that decision with Sven Mikkel's second stone, I wonder if that will come back to haunt Yannick Schwaller. I applaud him for playing the aggressive stone, but he now has 2 reds with good separation. I also need to get used to the more aggressive strategy. I'm from the 1980s. And the running joke is that a typical Lorna game looks like some sort of code in binary. 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0. I am a highly defensive player because that's just how it was then. But that does not win you games anymore. All the teams at this level now, so precise. You need to be on your game from the beginning, whatever strategy you play. And I do tend to agree with Joel's assessment that you sort of never really won games by hitting. Although it was definitely a good weapon to have up your sleeve. Ooh, where does the shooter land? Third shot. So yellow still closest. But that shooter from Yannick, I don't know if it was possible to roll in further than the red. But the situation is Switzerland playing yellow, they lie first shot. Italy playing red, lie second. And the Swiss only third shot, so huge chance here for the Italian team. Again, that careful wait, that is something to learn from these top teams that you can take away to the club. Really important that that red hangs around. Important that the yellow goes. Equally important that this red hangs around. And that's why they play that slower weight, the gentler weight, controlled takeout, or even that looked just a little bit like a hack weight, hack plus. And that is something to practice at the club. You will have much more control over your stones if you just play that controlled weight. Give your sweepers a chance to work on it, and you are much more likely for your stone to hang around. Schwaller reckons the double's there, and he is quite right. Well, I said, would he come to regret playing the aggressive strategy a couple of stones ago? And the answer is no. You take the gamble that you are going to be looking at potentially a tricky shot, which that was, across the house double. Backed himself to make the tricky shot, and now all of a sudden the question is being asked of Italy. Stefano Gili not quite finding this nice angle that the Swiss did. So what an interesting end. This end really pivoting on that decision of Yannick Schwaller with Sven Mikkel's throw. He could easily have just moved Italian stones out of play. He didn't. He put another Swiss stone into play, backed himself and his team to make the shots from there. And their reward is they now have a chance to force Italy to put 1 point on the board. Yeah, the Italians now just looking at the scoreboard. How many ends do we have left? That is a lovely throw from Benoit Schwarz. Almost maximum separation there.
Sto pensando, se pensiamo di essere forzati, giocare il freeze. Sì, ma non resti primo. Poi è più difficile essere shot.
Yeah, it depends what you want here, Italy. If they have made up their minds that they are going to be forced to score either way, may as well try and make it a 2. If you are pretty sure that you're going to be forced to score 1, then let's at least try and have a chance to score 2. That's one way of thinking. The other way is, okay, let's try the big across the house double with this first throw. And if it works, you still keep the blank in play. I see curling news in the chat being cheeky as usual. Oh, I was hoping that could be a goodness me, especially for you, curling news. That stone just rolling out. Same again for Benoit Schwarz.
Questa sì, secondo me poi è quasi tornata indietro con questa velocità, appena.
I don't see a reason not to play the same again.
Sì, però passati sotto di tanto così, per passare sopra di tanto così, vuol dire la tocchi ancora sotto.
There have been 2 or 3 ends actually when Benoit Schwarz has really just been throwing to tee line. He has been getting in quite a lot of target practice, Benoit Schwarz. That's ever so slightly worrying for Italy. That is not the man you want having target practice. And good for you, Yannick Schwaller. Made the aggressive decision early in this end. And their reward, after backing themselves to play the tricky shots, didn't they just? And their reward is they have now turned the tables on Italy. And no double takeout for Italy, forcing the Italians to put 1 point on the board but give up last stone. And that is advantage Switzerland. That will be a score of 1. The boys can get a bit muddled up with the scoreboard. I do too, honestly. That's it. Stop. That is a score of 3 each after 5 ends. We play 8 ends here in Baden. If scores are tied, we will play 1 extra end. We've had a few of those already. Slight advantage though to Switzerland, and why is that? So the score is level, 3 points each. We play 8 ends. We have 3 ends left in 6, 7, 8. That means there are 3 last stone advantages available. And if you are Switzerland, you are saying to yourself, okay, if we score something with last stone advantage here, keep the pressure on Italy in end 7, hopefully try to force them again to only put 1 point on the board, give up last stone. It would be Switzerland who has that all-important last stone advantage in the 8th end. So slight advantage Switzerland here after 5.
Quasi l'ho un po' accompagnata, ha perso tanto. Assolutamente double chance.
It is still anybody's game out there. Half of the people out there have won this tournament before. The most recent was Retornaz of Italy with his previous lineup. Schwaller with his previous team. They won this title twice in 2019 and 2021. Benoit Schwarz with his previous lineup, although his team is a bit of a philosopher's axe, really, isn't it? That was when he played with Peter de Cruz in 2016 was the last time Benoit Schwarz won here. I think they've pretty much made at least the semi-finals ever since. And Sven Michael, I think they are the only team to win back-to-back, and they did that all the way back in 2011 and 2012. So 4 players know how to win this competition already, and 4 players very eager to get to that point. Fox Alpha, indeed, difficult to choose between the teams. Watching from Lugano in Switzerland, so interesting, that's the Italian part of Switzerland. Maybe a win-win for you, Fox. We can guarantee either a Swiss or an Italian team will be the champions this afternoon.
Quasi sulla T almeno.
Big throw coming up for Andrea Gili. He's been really solid all weekend. We will see both teams, I think, from here really having to take risks a bit. Scores are tied, 3 ends to play.
Comunque giù che l'apriamo. Ok. Buona. No, buona.
Not quite getting around the back of that yellow. That would really have put the pressure on if that red had buried itself behind everything. Yeah, the only stones that are causing you trouble are those centre guards. If you leave them, Italy are going to use them again.
Fast 13. 12,5. 12,5. Ja, ist schon 12,5. Schnell. Schnell, Max. Sorry.
That is a Wonderful throw from Sven Michael. He moves that red off the centre, which was objective A, and he has got a second counter in behind cover, away from the centre. Wonderful throw from him.
Metà. 2/3, metà grossa anche buona. Sì. Oh. Giù.
Ooh, very close. Good effort from Stefano Gilli.
Schau hier rollen eigentlich. Offen so. Hinter dran.
Tom wondering what the most tense Baden Masters final that we've watched. I have to say the most tense ones that stand out, I think they were both semi-finals, and they were all Scottish, interestingly. It was, I think poor old Ross White was on the end of both of them as well. I think there was Cameron Bryce played Ross White. Of course, that was a while ago now. Maybe 2021, something like that, and that was incredibly tense. It took everything they had to get past Ross White. It usually does. And then the other one was a couple of years ago, and that was Bruce Mallett playing Ross White. And same thing, it was who was going to blink first.
Che dite? Possiamo giocare qua? No, dietro la corda, dietro la corda. Sì.
It does not look like Yannick Schwaller's team are suffering at all from having had a bit of a longer path to get here. Retornaz's team, they were top of their group after the round robin and had a direct path to the semi-final. Yannick Schwaller, they finished second in their group, so they played a quarter-final against last year's champions Marco Hösli's team, and they had to win that game to get to semi-final. Then their semi-final itself was about an hour longer than Joe Retornaz's semi-final. It doesn't seem to be having an effect. Everybody looking pretty on their game out there. One little half shot in this sixth end could be disastrous either way. We have a stone of each colour in play in the house. Very nice throw from Schwaller. There is in fact a guard close to the hog line. It's so close to the hog line, it's just out of our picture. No direct path to that yellow, just thrown by Yannick Schwaller, but because it's close to hog line, there is plenty of room to swing a stone around and just land it in front of that yellow.
Linea buona. 4, 5. Linea per Albi. 6. Linea continua. Continua linea. 5. Continua linea. Deve andare linea. 6. Deve andare linea. Forte linea. Forte Albi.
Of course they can't half sweep
Continua, go,
these big boys.
Buon tiro. Buon tiro.
Fine effort from the Italian squad.
Just hush, yeah.
I think in our normal club team that would probably have dropped somewhere ahead of the house. But they can really drag a stone quite some distance with that powerful sweeping. And it's found a good place, that red. It's a slightly more complicated path to winning this championship here. Slightly more complicated for Italy. Remember, if you're Switzerland, your easiest path is to take advantage of last stone here in the 6th end. Restrict Italy in the 7th end to just 1 point with last stone advantage. And then at worst case, the scores would be level. And then use your last stone advantage in 8 to win the game. At least strategically, path quite easy or quite straightforward for Switzerland. The path a little more complicated for Italy.
Also, guard weg, ne? Das Ziel ist eher weg.
Kind of all in with the aggressive path though.
Ja, gut. Wir können. Gut.
Looks like the idea there is they want to restrict the scoring area for Switzerland. They may have decided that a score of -1, so a point to Switzerland. They may have decided that's okay here in the 6th end. Then we would have 2 ends left to play, 7 and 8, and it would be Italy with last stone advantage in the 7th, and then that puts the decision back to them how to manage the game from there. And that is a huge sweep from Pablo. Lâcha couche pas gauche. For me, Pablo was noticeably good at the sweeping tasks during Olympics. I think he really worked hard on that. Well, it is now or never for one of these teams in the 6th end. Somebody is going to score something. There are too many stones in play for a blank to show up from here, I would have thought. We can't afford a bad decision here either. We need to be going for the right shots and we need to be very precise with them. We don't have timing clocks here, so we don't have a timeout and a coach interaction. I've always been pretty ambivalent about timeout and coach interaction, I must say. I think these teams, they really know what they're doing already. I'm not sure coach interaction or timeout really brings an awful lot, but I don't hate it. So he's going to move one of the yellows. Again, I think that's pretty much as much as he could do with that throw. He couldn't see all of those yellows because of that long guard out front. And with all these stones in play, Italy, what they're really thinking of is to restrict Switzerland from here. giving 1 point to Switzerland. That's okay. As we said then, Switzerland would be 1 point ahead going into 7th, but it would be Italy who has the last stone advantage in end 7, and from there they can really try to dictate how to play the end. Switzerland then realising that's what's up. Italy are trying to force you, Switzerland, to make only 1 point by really closing down that scoring area. There is a long guard out front. There are 2 reds making a nuisance of themselves. Schwaller and Schwarz will be discussing, okay, how do we get 2 from here? There isn't a blank end coming. We don't really want to score only 1. A score of 2 here would be big, just because we've only got 2 ends left. Both teams then realising that 1 Swiss stone is currently counting, and what are they going to do about it? Italy wants to force that situation to remain. Switzerland wants to get a 2nd point into play. Great effort from Benoit Schwarz. It is Switzerland currently lying 2. 2 stones to come, 1 each. Next to throw is Italy, last to throw is Switzerland. This is also round about the 6th end, traditionally when the game slows down to a snail's pace. And I am being rather cheeky. That's because you are running out of ends, and a decisive move here, or rather a strong move here, could be decisive. And I know none of you have non-curling plans today. Of course not. We are all in this together until it ends.
Ma che velocità ci va per fare questa doppia qua dietro? Ci andrà almeno, forse non basta, dipende di come la prendi. Perdono di velocità, sono 2 impatti, non so, se questa la prendi fine rischia che ci sia qua con un 10 secondo me.
Oh no, I turned it down.
Anche secondo me 9 dovrebbe essere una buona velocità, bisogna vedere dove rimani lì. Cioè, riuscire ad averla qua che ti dà una doppia con questa di back.
We should really expect games to taking longer. Is that the word I want? Words I want. We're always encouraging aggressive play, stones in play, but of course that makes life more complicated in terms of what to do. Stone placement, getting your angles right. I should stop being cheeky about the teams taking such a long time. Two stones left to come in this 6th end. Someone is scoring. Ooh. A little involuntary noise there. That was a brave throw from Italy.
Anche se c'era quel
Staat aan de halve schut.
Sì, a volte c'era sempre. Sì, però con quella velocità lì era difficile
They
arrivare.
just needed that stone to curl a centimetre or two more, and they'd have been lying in a great position. But it was just a bit stronger than the first one. Didn't quite curl as much as they needed it to. Schwarz will never get a better chance than this to put a huge score on the board here. He looks pretty pleased with himself after throwing it, and that's a really well made shot. That is definitely advantage Switzerland. Big score of 3, just a couple of centimetres missing on the curl for Italy, and all of a sudden, because there's all those stones in play, all of a sudden a big chance. And you do not want to give Schwarz a big chance at this stage in the game. That will be a big score of 3 to Yannick Schwaller at a critical time in this game. After 6 ends then. It is Yannick Schwaller's team from Switzerland 6, Retornaz of Italy 3. Easily the longest end so far, but what an important one, the 6th end. Loads of stones in play. But finally, it was a big score of 3 to the Swiss. Two ends left in regulation time. This, the 7th end and the 8th end. Italy needing at least 3 points from those 2 ends just to take it to an extra end now. They can't let Switzerland get any more points from here. They will be going all out aggressive to try to put at least 2 points on the board here, and then maybe steal a point in an 8th end, steal a point in an extra end. I think that's the most likely path to victory from here. Switzerland with that really well played 6th end and all over that last shot. They just need to keep things tight. Just don't let Switzerland score. Sorry, don't let Italy score, and surely this title will be theirs. We have a poll in the chat. Can Team Retornaz bounce back? That's nice to see. A lot of folks have good faith in the Italians. If anyone can, I think they can. That is stone number 5 in the 7th end from Sven Mikkel, and deliberately throwing that away. Nothing wrong with that stone, nothing happened. They deliberately threw it away. Remember, not allowed to remove anything from free guard zone until 5 stones have been played, but not really wanting any more stones in play either. The Italians, in contrast, wanting all the stones in play, please. Stones in play favours them. That's stones to freeze to hide behind. I didn't see the call. I'm not sure if that was really supposed to be up to the yellows, but certainly no use long. Another guard far more helpful than a stone that was too big.
Piena, tira dentro le 2 rosse e rimanere lì con la guardia. Sì, ma anche un 11 secondo me. Prendi un filo alta con l'out, ti va un
Italy's path very much more difficult from here to the title if they are going to win this. The team need to use these red stones out front, either to hide behind or to punch into the house. Not much space behind them really, because their second problem is that there are 2 yellows already cluttering up the centre. That's good though. That is very nice from Andrea Gilly. At some stage they do have to do something about those 2 yellows, but now they have 2 nice reds hanging around just off centre. Yeah, just hit the open one, Yannick. Italian superfan Osako, she is very happy to see the faith in Team Retornaz. Majority of the folks in the poll, they have confidence that the Italian team can still win this game from here.
Ja, de gelb is viertel. Drittel is, ja, drittel trifft schon, ja.
Now then, they're starting to hit for home a bit, the Swiss. Let's just remove stones from play. Ooh. That would have been quite a shot had he got the double. It is Italy who have the harder path, and they are forced to play the more complicated, the more precise shots. Switzerland will be very happy to hit for home from here. Just keep removing stones. Don't leave Italy anything to hide behind, anything to freeze onto. That's always a happy position to be in. Now that maybe looks like not such a good shot, but it's actually found quite a nice space. This is a good end to learn from as well if you're a couple of shots behind. You really need to keep stones in play. And the good thing about that red there in the back ring, there are fully 3 stones in front of it. And that takes the attention of the Swiss over to the other side of the sheet instead. And that red just thrown by Stefano Gili. Sorry, that was Andrea Gili again. Is pretty nice and safe there at the back. And could that be an important point, second point later on in this end?
Oh. Girl. Straight.
Oh, he's going for the double here. Goodness me. He's done it. That was just for you, Curling News. I think that huge double, and that was the awkward way as well. He had to go over the top of it. Yeah, let's have a look at that again. What a shot. I think that pretty much summing up the game out there at the moment. Really, if anyone can get back into this game, if anyone can get this over the line, it will be Joe Retornaz's Italian team. But the Swiss really seem to be putting their foot down now. Oh. And our little Paul in the chat has slightly lost confidence after that wonderful across the house double from Yannick Schwaller.
No bounce is gut. Ich habe es nicht lieber, wir müssen einfach nicht bouncen, ja. Aber wenn wir bouncen, ist es noch nicht fertig, aber... Ja, mach mal Freeze, ist gut. Chase ist auch nicht einfach. Chase ist nicht einfach. Ein Bein mehr vielleicht.
Life getting quite tricky for Italy. Life getting easier and easier for the Swiss team. It is 10 years since Benoit Schwarz won this competition. It is 14 since Sven Michael won this competition. And Pablo Lachat-Couchepin, he has not won this competition yet, and surely he must be feeling like today is their day. That's a fine throw from Benoit Schwarz van Berkel. Barely any room to score 1 point here, never mind more. Eli is happy to see Schwaller's team putting in a really strong performance. Yeah, I was really surprised when I was looking back as to when everybody had last won this competition. Yannick's team, I think they've never not been in a semi-final since I've been here. But quite a while since they were the champions. Superfan Tom, very impressed with Team Schwaller's play today. I fully agree with you. I think they made courageous decisions, Yannick's team, and really backed themselves to pull it off. I think Italy did the right thing, as we said before, to keep things aggressive. You may not end up winning it as higher risk, higher reward, but yeah, when everybody's really strong at hitting, you need to do something else if you're going to start making inroads. Oh, fine effort from Joel there. You could see what the idea was. He was very close to moving all of those yellows. Mardo in Brazil, happy to see Schwaller's team having a winning start in this season, and looking forward to seeing another Swiss team, Alina Petz. It's a men's and women's competition next weekend in Scotland. Could be our first time to see a lot of the new and reorganised ladies teams. Most of the teams from here you will see also in Scotland next weekend. It may not be quite as hot. It's been pretty warm here the past couple of weeks. And as always, the solution to global warming is go and live in Scotland. Benoit Schwarz can really all but close the door here. Schwarz just throwing that yellow guard in the bottom right of our screen, blocking the path on the in-turn, the clockwise handle, blocking that path to the centre. And surely, if any more points go to the Swiss, surely that will be game over. Yeah, there may just about be a path through that narrow port, is there? Or did they try something similar, drive the red guard back into everything? It's a bit of a Hail Mary either way. Switzerland currently lying, surely for the game. Unless the great man can pull out a bit of magic. He's not going to this time. That's definitely one yellow. I think it's two. And yeah, that's the game. We have new champions here in Baden after a really engaging final. Such high quality stuff. That's how you win a game these days, is putting stones into play. Good stone placement. Yeah, big smiles. Congratulations particularly to Pablo Lachac-Couchepin. His first time winning this tournament. For Yannick Schwaller's team, that's the first time this team lineup has won the tournament. Joel Retornaz, he won in 2023, the most recent of the players to have been champion here. And the brothers Gili and Alberto Pimpini, they will have to come back and try again, but super weekend they've had. I am really looking forward to seeing more of these new Italian teams. But yeah, big smiles for the Swiss. Both teams really favouring the aggressive tactic, which we love to see. The Swiss making some courageous calls, strong decisions, and even stronger play. So I would have to say, I think they probably deserved it today. Good decisions, good play. Very few misses, really putting the pressure on Italy from the beginning. And we have new champions. Everyone in the chat congratulating Team Schwaller. They will be delighted to have started this season with a win this weekend. Remember, it is Marco Hösli's team who are currently Swiss champions. It is not Yannick Schwaller for the first time in a few years. I think that rivalry is going to get better and better. So Yannick Schwaller will be delighted that it is his team that have drawn first blood in this new season. They will now stay for photographs. Their Norwegian coach coming onto the ice as well. If you were eagle-eyed viewer, you may have spotted Thomas playing, I think it was on Thursday evening, when I think Benoit Schwartz wasn't available. So we had bonus coach back on the ice for the first time in a little while. But that is it for this year from the Baden Masters 2026. We have had some super games as always. They are all on the YouTube channel. There he is in his flip-flops. All the games from this weekend are on the YouTube channel. Thank you everyone in the virtual club for joining us as always. Big smiles for the winning team, quite right. They played a very strong final. They had a long pass to get there. They didn't let it affect them. Played a really strong final. They are worthy champions. You enjoy that feeling out there on the ice. Thank you, gang, for joining us this year. And stay tuned for news of Baden next year. Thanks for your company this weekend. Bye for now.